Well, thank you very much, Professor. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank you for your presence this morning to come and witness this wonderful day. I think this is a historic occasion where UJ and Richard Maponya today are signing a relationship that may turn the country round. We are mostly targeting our young stars who graduate and they look for opportunities and they don't find opportunities, and at the end they land been doing things they did not intend doing. I think this relationship is going to bring a change in us motivating our young people to graduate. As they graduate, they don't look at the government and say, what is it that the government can do for us? They'll say, what is it that we can do to upgrade, to help our government bringing a change in this country? I think this relationship is going to motivate the young people to wake up and do things for themselves. We want to bring a change that will motivate our young people not to wake up and say, I'm waiting for a tender, I'm waiting for a BEE. They'll wake up and say, I am trained to do something, and they create things for themselves. This relationship is going to reach out at people in the cities, rural areas, everywhere in this country. We are targeting young people throughout the country in the 9 provinces. I think that bag that you have just mentioned, Professor, which one throws around and see it as an old bag, and when they pick it up, they find a diamond. This time, they will not only find 1 diamond or 2 diamonds, they'll find half a dozen diamonds to a dozen diamonds. And that is the kind of a change we believe we are going to bring in this relationship. I would like to thank particularly the Brazilian people who brought in my mind something I had seen in their country when they had a similar kind of relationship, of a problem. Young people, majority of the Brazilians, unemployed and being very poor. And when they got a gentleman who was a trade unionist, and he became a president of the country, and he knew the sufferings of the people down the ground. And he said, I'm going to bring a change here. I'm going to train every Brazilian to wake up and do something for himself, not looking at the government to do something for them. And they took me around their country. They showed me institutions they have built, and these institutions were targeting at all Brazilians to wake up and use their hands and create something that can put bread at table. And as a result of that, they trained every Brazilian, I'm told, at that time, unemployment in Brazil was something like 40%. And the majority of Brazilians were very, very poor. The majority of them were just like South Africa, where we are having the majority of our people living under breadline. And within a period of 10 years, they brought down that 40% of unemployment to 5%. And during that very period, they empowered 25 million Brazilians. They brought them up to a middle class standard. When I heard that story, I said, wow, if the Brazilians can do this kind of a thing, yet they are the biggest, they've got the biggest number of people. I think the Brazilians are over 200 million people, and we are only 50 million people. And I said, if this can happen to Brazil, I think I would like to take the Brazilian magic and bring it to South Africa and see as to whether this problem we're having of unemployment and poverty and cannot be changed. This relationship, I really believe, is going to make magic. I really believe is going to turn the hearts and minds of our youngsters not to be dependent on people doing things for them. They will wake up and do things for themselves. And as a result of that, they will have a lot of people empowered. But Professor, I thank you very, very much for this relationship. And I only hope that we are going to reach out, not only the urban people here, we will also reach out at the people in the rural areas, everywhere in South Africa, and train them to become, to rely on themselves and not to rely on people doing things for them. I thank you very, very much indeed.